Ron Richardson, live on WBOK and online at WBOK1230.com.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Conversations with Ron Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com. Welcome back to another great episode of Conversations with Ron Richardson, and I would like to welcome my very special guest, my newfound extended family, Mr. Gary Osborne. Gary, how are you?
I'm fine this morning. How are you doing today?
How you been, my brother?
And I've been good. Got up early, got my workout in, and ready to come talk with you.
All right, man. Welcome to Conversations with Ron Richardson. It is my pleasure to have you. Each and every week, I have a different guest on, and they talk about different issues that plague our community. And I also like to give my guests their own honors, and I want you to introduce yourself to my listeners. So take it away.
All right. I'm Gary Osborne. I'm Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And first, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be able to come on and talk with you and share. I'm 57 years old. I'm a graduate from the University of Southwestern Louisiana.
Okay.
USL, you would call it, like speaking of old school people. I've been a basketball athlete. I've been working in a plant facility, which I currently do now, for going on almost 30 years. So, man, I into fitness. Sometimes you start life what you think you're supposed to do, and sometimes you connect with a new passion. Some things I learned about myself early when I was young, and happy for the opportunity, to share with you and everybody today the reason why I started this journey.
So how did you get into physical fitness, man? Because I've been following you for some time, and you have an interesting story about how you got started. So why don't you expound on that a little bit?
So I got into it, like I said, I always been a basketball athlete, man. I literally used to play basketball 7 days a week, and then when I started working in the plant and being on emergency brigade, emergency response, had to have an annual physical, which I always recommend to clients, always do those physicals every year to know your numbers. Don't be surprised by anything.
Right.
And I learned something about myself where I was being diagnosed with borderline hypertension, so it was a shock to me, being that I was young, playing basketball 7 days a week, why am I developing hypertension? And seeing like when I was asking these questions, when I'm being diagnosed with, hypertension, I didn't get the answers that I wanted,
Right.
So, man, I started researching. I said it had to be things I'm eating because I'm already very active, young, and working out.
Right.
Or I'm getting hypertension. So I started learning about nutrition, reading, learning about all the sweeteners, a lot of things that we consume in our body daily, the things we're drinking,
Right.
that we're not educated on. And when I learned all of that over the years, I saw myself getting better and better, and body getting better and better, and knowledge, getting better and better. And I just wanted to turn that around and share that with people. So, long story short, too, no blood pressure issues. Been able to change that for many years. Been able to keep control of it, and just took matters in my own hands.
Right. One of the biggest things, man, you said it a little while ago. It's in the food that we eat. And I have many guests on my show each and every week. And, I always say this, especially in the African American community, the black community, the way we eat is a generational thing. We eat the way our grandparents and parents cooked. I grew up in one of those households where you eat what was prepared. So how did you, because I know, we're a few years apart, but how did you break that habit?
Well, like I say, I coming up in college, like I always say in my journey and my learning now, educate yourself. And, like I say, I don't like to get in arguments with people, but I believe that that's why my movement is mindset, meals, and movement. Starting off with the mindset, educate yourself and learning about what are you putting in your body, what are the benefits you're getting. So as I was reading and learning about a lot of artificial sweeteners and a lot of things, food has changed over the years, the way it's raised, the preservatives and things that keep food last longer for businesses. They trying to save costs, but this ends in us. So as I was reading and learning about a lot of this stuff, it was educating me on, the things that you put in your body is very important, and high proteins and minimizing these sugars and everything that we pretty much eat, which
Yes.
drives the hormones, drive your insulin levels, and which drives cravings and the way we eat. And then when I learned that, I know a lot of people think like hereditary. It's like I believe in everybody have the same genes.
Yes.
In my genes, high blood pressure, diabetes. I've known my great grandparents and had amputations from diabetes and things. So like you say, we learn how to prepare food, eat the same way, but there's no education now. So when I started learning about what's in the food we eat, how does it affect the body, and then I would start to, read ingredients and learn about these things that's in the food, and then it's not to me hereditary. It's just the same behaviors as what we do. Like you say, learning, and you don't learn no other way. You just come up doing the same thing.
Right.
That's the hereditary part. So once I learn,
Mm-hmm.
educate myself, and start seeing the results, that's how I was able to break it.
Hit us up, man. 504-582-9422 if you want to talk to myself or Gary. Gary, tell the people where they get in contact with you, man, if they want to find out more information.
Yeah, I'm definitely all over Instagram with Bayou Boy Fitness, Gary Osborne. That's GaryAusbon. Bayou Boy Fitness, you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook the same way. My email address is g.austin@yahoo.com. You can email me. Phone number is 225-603-2678. These are ways to get in contact with me, just for conversations.
Right. A lot of people, man, are afraid to make the change and, start incorporating a healthy lifestyle, into their lifestyle. So what would you tell those people that are trying to change and do better?
Like I say, my first thing is, having the right mindset, for as, you got to educate yourself. You got to be willing to start learning the why. What is your why? If you got high blood pressure, if you're trying to lose weight, what is your reason why? And once you start doing that, educate yourself, put yourself around right individuals. You got a lot of technology groups and things, because if you're not in a surrounding where people are going to encourage you or doing the same thing, people are going to try to distract you. For many years, I used to hear people saying, man, you're going to fall off. You're going to do it when you work shift work, which I've been doing for almost 30 years. Once you get older, you're not going to keep that up. So many challenges that you're going to face. But if you have a why, you want to do it, and your why is strong, that will keep you focused. And then putting yourself around the right people. And also, like I said, the biggest part is educating yourself when you're not seeing the result of what you want to do, make changes, educate yourself on it. Or if you see somebody that's been successful to do it, even like myself, just reach out. Be open up, let the egos down, always be willing to learn, because I always believe in life is lifelong learning. You always have something that you can learn to make adjustments, be innovative, to get better. Is a non-ending thing. It's never ending. So be willing to be open.
Yeah, you have to be open and you have to be willing to change. One thing about
Yes.
a lot of people, man, you know, they're not willing to change. If they have their mindset on not doing something, you know, they're not going to do it no matter what the consequences may be or, you know, repercussions of whatever.
Mhm.
Which brings me
Mhm.
to, I know you train a couple of clients a week. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right. So when it comes to dealing with clients, what has been your most difficult situation with a client?
The biggest thing is getting people to realize, you have to make those changes with your eating habits. A lot of people reach out. I train people not just physically through social media, like just coaching them
Mm,
to results. Because the thing is, like I say, mindset is movement. If you have the right mindset, you start educating yourself, be willing to learn, and be willing to make those changes, put yourself around the right people, fueling your body better. Because I put them on different plans. I give them options from talking about real foods, good supplements that, I partner with a wellness store that I help set people up and give them plans. And then if you just move your body, a lot of people is just not moving,
right.
sit around, even kids today. I mean, I go into camp, kids, nobody's stretching, nobody's doing anything, and they become physically impaired
Mm,
by the lack of movement. You're not circulating blood through your body. So when you're not moving, and then you get stuck, and then more people want to attack it physically, and you cannot outwork bad eating. That's why you would quit the gym, but
right.
you would never quit eating.
Right.
So you got to focus on be willing to change your eating habits, and sometimes that's the biggest uh, challenge that I try to get people to see.
There's a lot of information out there. Uh, you know, I know a lot of people are, you know, turning vegan or, you know, going plant based.
Hmm. Hmm.
And what are your views on the whole vegan and plant based diet? And do you feel that people should cut out eating meat? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know, you know, over the years we've heard that meats
Hmm.
have the protein that we need, but I noticed that a lot of
Hmm.
people are getting away from that, and you know they're
Hmm.
going completely plant based, not fooling with the animal products anymore. What are your thoughts on
Hmm. Everything still always brings me back to education.
it?
You know, when I ask people, I can go as an example. This with my daughter when they say they go and read. I know people see a lot of times they read stuff or they see stuff, but
Hmm.
they still never really did their research, on
Right.
certain things. Or you hear things, you see things, and you follow it. But it goes back to your reason why, because you could be vegan, or you can be a person that don't eat meat. Okay, if that's your reason why you're not eating meat is because how it raised, and you see uh, all the things they say about it, and then are you still getting proteins, or what are you going to do to make that adjustment? Because if you're not eating meat and you're still eating a lot of sweets, you're still not going to lose body fat. You're still going to be overweight.
Right.
So it still comes back to educating and what are your reasons why. Are you doing it just because of the bad news and the stuff that you hear? Have you did your education on it? Because there's still a lot of good stuff out there that I never stopped eating meat, but I got better brands that I look for. And I know people look at cost, but on the front end, when you take care of stuff, on the back end, you're going to save a whole lot more than just this cost. You know, that's why I'm not on medication. I save myself a whole lot of money, a lot of doctor visits that I don't have to have. Not on medication where I'm having all these side effects. So be willing to do some research. What is your why, and then educate yourself on. Because I could go back, back in the day we used to eat fruits and watermelons and oranges and apples and stuff.
Right.
But that, do you know what benefit that do in your body? We never really learn why you eat these things. You know what I'm saying? It's like you still don't know that watermelon can dehydration. It gives you electrolytes. Oranges and citrus. It can help you with your immune system and stuff. You know, you got vitamins and minerals in these types. If you know the why you have to eat these things or what it does in your body, then you will learn better and you probably will be better off, on your fitness journey. if you learn these things.
One thing that, trips me out about a lot of people, we will go to the doctor and we'll take the pill, or we'll take whatever's prescribed, but we won't change our eating habits.
Right.
And like I said, I don't knock doctors in any way. Like you said, there's a lot of side effects that come along with this medicine. I remember when we first started talking, and going backwards and forwards on social networking, you posted a picture of a young lady who had some devastating side effects from a blood pressure medicine. And it's like we will take a pill, but we won't change our eating habits, and that has got to be like the craziest thing that I've ever seen. I can think back to my grandfather. My grandfather, he smoked for years. It's very difficult to get an older person out of the mindset, especially when they've been doing something for so long.
Right.
But back to this young lady, the side effects of the blood pressure medicine were devastating. So what would you tell anybody, who's in the process or beginning the process of taking any kind of medication when it comes to high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever the case may be?
Well, and I really believe I can speak on it because I'd like to share, if you give me a minute, opportunity to share that was really started my journey because, when I had to have this physical, because most men, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
And a lot of times people do not go out and have physicals like they need. Just every year, once a year, at least once a year, do your blood work. Because it can tell you a lot of things in your blood work of what's going on in your body. You cannot judge a book by its cover. Just because somebody looks fit don't mean they're fit. It's a lot of things you could take and things you could do, enhancements people do. Even athletes got in trouble for that. You know what I'm saying? So when I first started off and I learned about borderline hypertension, when it goes back to, that's why I always talk about mindset. We've been told, listen to the doctors for so many years. That's what you always heard. That's what you always learned. And I don't knock doctors either. We need them. They got the ability and the tools and the stuff to do those checks. But they don't. You don't work for them. They work for you. You don't have to do everything. You can challenge things they tell you. You can do second opinion on that as well. But just because they're a doctor, I always say people just got to sometimes just stop and think and be observative. Because some of those doctors smoke. Some of them don't have the good habits. They're giving you something they haven't even taken.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got the right to challenge things. So in my journey, when I was being like it wasn't high, and listen to me when I say this. I always tell people this. So back then, my number was back then the blood pressure range was 140 over 90, and I think they'll have lowered it now. But even with
they've lowered the requirements.
The borderline,
right?
They lowered the requirements. So understand what I'm saying. So even though I was borderline, I never had no symptoms. I never had no issues, nothing. Okay? And I was being diagnosed with hypertension. Now, it wasn't high. It was bumping the high range, like 138 over 88. So it wasn't high. But most times, they're going to put you on something because they'll think most people is not going to change. Then they got other people waiting in the waiting room, So most times when I went through that experience, you go to the doctor for the first time, you sit in the waiting room, then and they call you in the back. You sit in that for another 30 minutes or so. Nurse take all the preliminaries, and then when doc come in, he just reads the chart and start writing prescriptions. Never ask anything. But if you don't slow that down, they putting you on something. So they wanted to give me lisinopril. If you Google lisinopril, African American people, a lot of allergic reactions from swollen lips, the eyes, the ears. Some people even almost had where they had the epic pen. And back in the day, I was breaking out in hives. It didn't know what that was, but when I asked the doc, they say it's something you ate, or maybe a change of detergent or something.
All right, so
but
you know what?
When I look back,
hold that up, because we got to go to our first break.
Okay.
I want you to continue with that. All right?
Okay.
Hang on for me. This is Conversations with Ryan Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com. Remember, guys, if you want to find out more information about yours truly, you can hit me up on social network. Just search for me on Facebook. Just search for the Ryan Richardson or Ryan Rich Facebook page. And you can also find me on Instagram, Ronald_Richardson_Jr. on Instagram. Hit us up, 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. We'll be right back with Mr. Gary Osmond right here on Conversations with Ryan Richardson.
I'm David Patan Sr., owner of Whole Water and Food Over Medicine Academy, coach, consultant, and instructor. We're excited about our 21-day challenge. Stop, prevent, and reverse disease today. Cholesterol, diabetes type 2, high blood pressure, along with chronic illnesses and diseases. We believe that the gift of wellness is the greatest gift, and for $30 per month, $1 a day, you could have this gift for you and your family.
I'm Phyllis Washington, and I've benefited with health and weight loss.
For your gift of $30, healing and wellness can be yours. Call 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. The Whole Water Store. See you at 2135 Washington Avenue today.
Are you looking for the next burlesque sensation? Searching for some prime entertainment on a Sunday night? Well, come down to the Always Lounge as Scarlett Letta presents Show Me Your Noobs. You'll see the finest new entertainers performing burlesque, drag, and a variety of acts that will tease, titillate, and delight you. We are here every third Sunday of the month. Come catch the most raved about show in New Orleans that no one has ever heard of until now. Show Me Your Noobs. It's the perfect night out, whether you're a burlesque regular or sharing your first time with us. Show Me Your Noobs will leave you breathless.
Hi, I'm Leo Jackson, host of Sunday Gospel here every Sunday morning, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 o'clock till 2 p.m. You don't want to miss this move of God. It happens only on WBOK. You listen to all day long.
Hey family, Ron Richardson here, host of Conversations with Ron Richardson. If you're looking for quality catering and barbecue, you need to contact my friends at Kuzan's Catering and Barbecue Team. Mr. Eddie Bunch and Kuzan's have been serving the West Bank since 2013 with their quality selection of barbecue and seafood. If you're looking for quality catering, be sure to contact Kuzan's Catering, located at 618 Westwood Drive in Marrero, or you can go to kuzansonline.com for more information for all the services that they offer, or call 504-233-4227. Catering done the right way just for you. That's Kuzan's, baby.
New Orleans, you want to know what we're talking about? Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WBOK for Conversations with Ron Richardson. The topics will always be hot and the conversation will be all the way live. Meet us there. We'll save you a seat. We can also talk about you and your business as a sponsor of Conversations with Ron Richardson. Contact Ron at 504-874-4584 or email him at richardsonronald024@gmail.com for more details.
Hey WBOK 1230 family, this is Angie from the Sincerely Angie podcast. Make sure you're tuning in every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. to Conversations with Ryan Richardson, where the conversations are all the way live and informative. Conversations with Ron Richardson every Saturday on WBOK 1230 a.m.
WBOK, online at WBOK1230.com. It's the place where we can be open and honest about real life issues. You're listening to Conversations with Ron Richardson, live on WBOK and online at WBOK1230.com.
Welcome back. This is Conversations with Ryan Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK 1230. and also on YouTube. And we have my main man, my new extended family, Mr. Gary Osborne, the Bayou Boy. What's going on, man?
Yes, sir.
So, why do they call you the Bayou Boy? Is that a name that you given yourself, or how did you come up with that name?
Yeah, well, when I'm growing up in the country, man, I'm down here in Louisiana, which is, the bayou. I lived on the street, Bayou Paul Lane. We used to call ourselves the Bayou Boys. So
Okay.
that's just something that stuck with me.
Right. Okay. All right, man. So
Mm-hmm.
you touched on a thought. We were talking about, the side effects of, high blood pressure medicine, especially lisinopril. So I wanted you
Mm-hmm.
to continue with that thought about, the side effects and different things of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I was saying, taking this fluid pill, the Cinepril, because many ways your pressure could increase, it's not, from fluids to, high fats or whatever. But, man, when I was taking this medicine for a short period of time, I noticed I was breaking out in hives, like welts
Really?
all over my arm,
Okay.
and when I, go back to the doctor or, notify the doctor, they were saying it was like a change of detergent or something I was eating. Never said it was the medicine. And, as I look now, I just stopped taking it. But one thing I do know, if I'm going to stop, I went, got me a blood pressure cuff, and then that's when I made that change. That's when I made that hard change on changing my eating habits and stuff like that. Kept a regular check on my blood pressure, and so every time I went back to the doctor, I had readings. And this is what I noticed. When you being prescribed medicine, not every 90 days they refill your prescription. So I went back to the doctor for almost 2 years. I had taken myself off, and my blood pressure was normal. And I guess they thinking it was the medicine, but actually it was my lifestyle change. And that's why I said once again, you got to take things in your own hand. But you're a number, unless you're some patient that sees them or you got something severely going on. They get to know your name because you go to them all the time. But if you just randomly once a year or something going to a doctor, you just a number, and they got so many people they see. So you got to take things in your own hand on your health, and that's how I made that change. And I even shared that with my sister, who was over the years talking with her. She's a little bit older than me, 58, had an issue, was pre-diagnosed with, was given prescribed the wrong medicine, and the pharmacist caught it. But this is something I have been talking to her for years about, paying attention to the doctors. And then it actually happened. And then she gained weight from it, and she came to a big little brother this time with a different mindset. She was willing to listen more, And my sister been in the gym for almost 15, 16 years, had a great transformation. She wasn't severely overweight, but bigger than she wanted to be.
Right.
And, man, she's been working out with weights and stuff for years. So I'm not just sitting on this line talking about myself. I have helped a lot of people from losing over 100 pounds to 50 pounds or more, severely changed their medical issues. From you can change being a diabetic or a high blood pressure by changing your eating habits, man. Once you learn and you start changing, things can change, and be consistent on it.
That's the thing, you have to be consistent in whatever you do, because a lot of people, they'll start. I notice a lot of times with my sisters, they'll work out, to lose some weight to fit into a dress. And once they fit into that dress and get into that certain type of outfit that they want to wear, they'll stop and go back to the bad habits. Not taking shots at anyone, but I'm saying what I've heard and what I've seen over the years.
And another thing to touch on real quick, what you said about when you asked about the diets and different diets and on people. That's another reason why I say people to educate. That's why me in my fitness, I really don't focus on diet.
Right.
I focus on lifestyle change because to me, diet's the work. If you focus on anything and you stay focused, you can see a change. But the thing is, if you just following a plan and you could get to that goal, but if you give you a plan and you just following it, but you're still not learning the why I'm putting this on this plan, why I'm putting these certain types of foods, and then you see the results. If you don't learn the why, you get to that goal, and then what's happening when you stop? If you didn't learn how to make the adjustment, you're going to gain it back. And then what happens is people don't have so much ups and downs on weight loss and stuff that their body even becomes deformed. Because when you go on these diets, you lose a lot of weight. But when you lose a lot of weight, you lose a lot of muscle. Muscle burn fat. And muscle burn calories even when you're not working out. That's why changing your eating habits, incorporating some type of strength training, high protein, you will lose body fat and you might not even lose weight, but you're going to be so much happy by doing the slow on that route than losing a lot of weight and still have a lot of body fat on your body. Right. And then when you gain the weight back, you don't gain that muscle back, So you're fighting against yourself. You don't have to do a lot of cardio and all this stuff once you learn how to eat and strength train, because you need this stuff as you get older too. Yes. Because it's not just about looking good.
Right.
How do you feel? Can you stand up and sit down in and out of your chair without assisting, like pulling on something or pushing on something? Can you just stand up on your own ability? Because when people get older, they fall and break something.
Yeah.
These are the reasons why you need these things, not just for the look good, but also for physical mobility as you get older.
Yeah, I follow a social media influencer named Mr. Dwight on Facebook and Instagram. He's always preaching. He's 76 and he's trying to live as long as he can. And I mean, some of the things that this man does at the age of 76, I mean, he's doing 20 and 30 pull-ups in the park, at 76 years old. And, he's always, preaching about, just overall physical well-being. And I want to touch on something myself. Me having cerebral palsy, I've been physically active all my life because I have to maintain, the muscle and the mobility that I have because, I already have a pre-existing condition that, may prevent me from doing things later on in life. And, I always say, you have to advocate for yourself because, doctors, they do their job, but, I've sat in the doctor's office plenty of times and, they say, okay, well, take this pill, but they never give you any rhyme or reason why you should be taking a pill, or,
right.
Okay, well, can we come up with another option, because their job is to keep you coming back. Like, that's what it is, right? You were saying something?
Treating the problem,
right? Not curing.
They're not educated on the other part. They basically train on how to treat it, how to take care of it in that kind of way.
How to manage it, right?
Yeah, how to manage it.
Right. So, you being a fitness instructor and a personal trainer, for as long as you have been, what would you consider one of your biggest accomplishments?
Well, like I say, for myself, just having that discipline in mind. My mom raised us to be disciplined, and people sometimes, when it comes to accountability and discipline, some people look at it negative, but it can be positive too, because accountability and discipline also means showing up every day. Being accountable where you show up every day to put in the work, you know what I'm saying? And I'm able to do that. But other accomplishments I've been able to, when you look on my page or you look at my Instagram it's not just me. You can see how I have helped people with transformation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if they're willing, to be coachable, and I always believe a leader of one can someday lead many. But if you can't lead yourself first, you can't lead any. So I'd like to be a product of somebody who is doing it myself. And then as I get older, because like I said, I've been working shift work almost going on 30 years. I have 3 kids. All 3 of them graduated from college. I have the same life as everybody else. So we use excuses and things when you don't want to do something. All you got to do is be willing and put in the work. And your body is your temple. That's the best investment that you can have, man. I would believe, like what Coach Prime said, if you feel good, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, you get paid good. All those things come together because if you look good and you feel good, you attract more. You're more positive. You feel better. Then you make more money even if you can show up, because some people's job, you don't work, you don't get paid. And if you don't have your health, how can you continue to carry on, And then the last thing, I have the best side of both worlds, because what I try to share with people, just like food, reading ingredients, there's a lot of things in there that food has changed over the years that we just don't understand. Why I can't drink milk anymore when I used to drink milk. Look at bread, how I used to a week it couldn't last on your refrigerator without molding. These things last longer. So we don't see these things because we're not thinking about it or paying attention. Some things that we used to eat, the reason why we can't eat it anymore, it ain't just your body that changed, it's the food that's changed. But you don't realize all the stuff all the preservatives and things in food. And also, I've been working in the chemical plant for many years. A lot of things we make in the chemical plant that we got to have personal protective equipment, respirators and things to protect ourselves. And this same thing goes in the household brands and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So, just like food, the ingredients, the warnings are on there. They only share what's going to attract you, like high energy,
right?
Muscle gain, all the things. But in the fine print that you can't even see is proper diet, and the ingredients are very, very small that you can't see that stuff. Like all these sucrose, dextrose, aspartame, all the stuff that harms your body, your joints, give you migraines, that keep you sick. And the same thing with a lot of household stuff we use, like ammonia, bleach. It's the warning signs on the back of the bottle that telling you it's harmful. So if you're handling this with your hands and when stuff touches your skin, it goes absorb into your body in a matter of seconds. So when you don't even have a history of cancer or certain things, it could be stuff you eating, it could be stuff you touching that we are not educating ourselves or we're not paying attention. But somebody like myself, when you share that with people, people argue with you or they think you crazy, but because you buy it out the stores, it dumbs things down where you don't pay attention to it, but it's still, that's how it's sneaking in on you. So you got to be a person in this world, no matter what it is, paying attention, making adjustments, and doing things for yourself.
Yeah, I was always told, I notice it even more so now when I get older, as I'm getting older, I should say, that if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many chemicals, man. You look at a lot of these labels, back labels, half of the stuff, you can't even pronounce. It's like, okay, well, what is this? And why does this need to be in tuna fish or whatever canned goods you may have? Like I was watching something online one day. A lot of the spring water, that we drink, and a lot of the different types of waters that we drink had preservatives in it as well. And it's like, okay, why is there preservatives in water? Like, why is there sodium in water? And this is part of the reason why a lot of people end up on dialysis, and
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed, dialysis is becoming
Yeah.
a lot more common. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's so much stuff is out there, and even even these sweeteners and a lot of the stuff that I read a book called by Kevin Trudeau, things they don't want you to know about, and it taught me a lot. So what made me pay attention to a lot of stuff we eat, the always sugar free, fat free, all the diet stuff. People been drinking diet soda for years. They never lost no weight.
Right.
But all this stuff causing more problems for you. I was sharing this with me that I've been in this world over 5 decades. I say I'm old school. I was able to see a lot of things. And as a trainer, you got a lot of people that's coaches now. Maybe you went through a transformation, they become experts. And I'm not knocking these people, but
right.
I look at myself as a seasoned person who pays attention and learned along the way. But back in the day, when I was telling you earlier about people need to know what food does in your body. Even like our parents, they forgot things they did, right? Back in the day, they used to season their food with celery, bell pepper, onions, garlic, all these natural seasonings of food that all has a benefit in your body, whether getting rid of allergy, attacking, immune system, all these different things. But what happened over the years, they created something for more convenience, saves time, and that's where all the monosaturated, slap your mama, the seasoning came along, right? But these are the things that got MSG, high sodium, inflammation, and this is what's killing people. Why we got also when you're saying dialysis, sciatic nerve issues, inflammation in the body can turn people where arthritis, all kind of stuff. You got dementia, all this stuff going on because this is what you use. So you went from natural to man-made. You know what I'm saying? With these chemicals, and that's all those seasoning is. Now, I'm not gonna tell you I never use it. I try to find a better brand, not use as much. You know what I'm saying? And people shake stuff on their food all the time before even they cook with it, and then when they start to eat, they still shaking stuff on their food. And that ends up in you with high sodium, a lot of water retention, fluid, like I told you, can cause high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, all these different things from these chemicals, all for these things that we use. So like it goes back to, like I say, paying attention, educating yourself on this stuff where you can find better brands, make better changes, and the more you do that with what goes in your body, that was going to create the longevity. Also, you get the fruit of your labor. Because a lot of people could go in the gym and work hard, but they'll never see results because they're not setting themselves up right with what they putting in their body. Because you're only going to work out 30 minutes to an hour. What happened to the 23 hours or 22 hours you're out in the world? You know what I'm saying? That's what all where it's all going in your body. Whether you got habits, drinking, smoking, whatever. And that's why it's so hard, and that's why people give up most of the time because they're not setting themselves up right. So those are things that I try to address in my coaching, getting people to realize, getting people to see the real truth where it matters.
So for somebody who is just starting, their fitness journey and starting that whole transitional phase, how would you tell them to start when it comes to physical fitness? Like, what are some pointers that you would give them? Somebody who is new and just starting out in physical fitness, what would you tell them? How would you tell them to start?
Yeah, but first, I sit down and talk with them, try to find a reason why. Why are you trying to make this change? Because some people just do resolutions. They got certain, but it got to be something strong that's going to keep you where you're going to work on it, be disciplined. I mean, mine was that shock I had. I didn't want high blood pressure. I have seen my parents, just like you said, with your parents, medication all their life, but never got better. As they got older, things got worse. So I saw that transition. So first, what are your why? Okay. Then I asked, their lifestyle, what their job, how you work. Do you have a job that you sit on all the time, or are you just to see how they moving? If you got a job where you're moving around, standing, you do exert the energy, through that. So that's another thing I try to find out from them, and then learn their eating habits. So sometimes people only eat once or twice a day, and they don't realize their metabolism is shot. It slows way down. So you turn your body to fat storing. Then anything you eat, if it's not the proper thing, you just throwing it all as fat.
All right, so
when
you know what?
You're only eating once or twice a day.
I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to finish that thought.
Okay.
We got to go to our second commercial break. Hang with me,
Okay.
all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is Conversations with Ron Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com and also on YouTube. Remember, guys, if you want to find out more information about yours truly, Ron Richardson, you can find me on social network and just search for the Ron Richardson or Ron Rich Facebook page. You can also find me on Instagram. Just search for Ronald_Richardson_Jr. on Instagram. We'll be right back with the Bayou Boy, Mr. Gary Osmond, right here on Conversations with Ron Richardson.
Real issues, real talk, real solutions. Miss an episode of The Reality Check? You can catch every episode anytime. Search WBOK Media on your favorite podcast app to tap the bold commentary, real-time reactions, and powerful perspectives from the people and leaders shaping our city. Download, share, and rate it 5 stars because the real ones always stay informed.
Are you looking for the next burlesque sensation? Searching for some prime entertainment on a Sunday night? Well, come down to the Always Lounge as Scarlett Letta presents Show Me Your Noobs. You'll see the finest new entertainers performing burlesque, drag, and a variety of acts that will tease, titillate, and delight you. We're here every third Sunday of the month. Come catch the most raved about show in New Orleans that no one has ever heard of until now. Show Me Your Noobs. It's the perfect night out, whether you're a burlesque regular or sharing your first time with us. Show Me Your Noobs will leave you breathless.
That's right. It's party time each and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on WBOK. It's the Throwback Throwdown with DJ Wick as he brings you the best in old school from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2Ks. Plus, the party goes to another level at 9 p.m. with the Throwback Throwdown Party Mix to round out the night. It's the Throwback Throwdown Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Ron Richardson here. If you are like me, that means you love the feeling of getting a fresh haircut and shave. If you do, then you should check out my friends Eddie and Dana Bunch at First Impressions Barber and Beauty Salon, specializing in hairstyles for men, women, and children. If you want to make a good first impression, you should check out First Impressions Barber and Beauty Salon located at 618 Westwood Drive in Marrero or call 504-341-6777. Remember, it's never too late to make that first impression at First Impressions Barber and Beauty Salon.
New Orleans, you want to know what we're talking about? Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WBOK for Conversations with Ron Richardson. The topics will always be hot and the conversation will be all the way live. Meet us there. We'll save you a seat. We can also talk about you and your business as a sponsor of Conversations with Ron Richardson. Contact Ron at 504-874-4584 or email him at richardsonronald024@gmail.com for more details.
Hey, WBOK 1230 family. This is Angie from the Sincerely Angie podcast. Make sure you're tuning in every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. to Conversations with Ron Richardson, where the conversations are all the way live and informative. Conversations with Ron Richardson every Saturday on WBOK 1230 a.m.
Hey, Pontchartrain Park. Thanks for listening to WBOK.
Thanks for listening to Conversations with Ron Richardson, live on WBOK and listen online at WBOK1230.com. Now, back to Ron.
Welcome back. This is Conversations with Ron Richardson on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com. We are back with the Bayou Boy, Mr. Gary Osmond. Gary.
Yes, sir.
You still hanging with me, my brother?
Oh, yeah, I'm here, man.
All right, man. This has been a very informative interview. I want you to continue with your thought before we went to break. We were talking about just, the lifestyle change, and I asked you, what would you tell a person just starting out? And you said the why. So I want you to continue on that last thought, talking about why a person would want to make that lifestyle change.
Yeah. So, like I said, I definitely try to connect with the reason why and get them to connect with it, because that usually, if you got a strong why, that will keep you, even those times you fall off, because I always believe, I was listening to Les Brown, when he said, a lot of people go by that saying, practice makes perfect, but no, practice makes progress. So the more you do it, the more you just looking for progress. You're not looking to be perfect, but you're just looking to be disciplined, consistent, and making progress. Because anything you put your body through in repetition, they're going to adjust to that. So if you eat bad, you're going to adjust to eating bad, and bad things are going to come out of it. If you make the adjustments slowly, be willing to be coachable. Tell me what changes you want to make. Because apparently what you've been doing hasn't been working. And then once you tell me, just be quiet and let me lead you. Because sometimes people come in, even though they want help, and then they want to tell you all the things that they want to do, don't want to do. I don't do this. I don't. But it's probably not going to work if you're not willing to, be accountable, listen, be coachable. But most people that do it, they make those changes, and then it's not just getting to the result. In my journey, in my training, I want you to, incorporate it where you're going to sustain it. You're not just going to get to the goal, but you're going to learn to sustain it. You may fall off a little bit, but you can get right back where you don't fall off too much. I'm helping somebody right now, a friend of mine who I helped lost over 80 pounds. I've been putting videos.
Oh, wow.
And Chris, he have a concrete business, he work a lot. He be out there sometimes, when it's not convenient, you start eating on anything. But I showed him how to plug things in that portable, that you could carry, that could bridge those gaps, because we all got busy lifestyles. And he lost over 80 to 90 pounds. He fell off a little. He gained a little weight back, but he stopped communicating, or he stopped being, even through social media, even though we're not in each other's presence, we still can be connected every day through social media. I have a private group in my Facebook called Bayou Boy Fitness and Well. I put stuff in there every day, from stretching to things to eat, to the videos, inspirational stuff, and getting other people to do that too. Because if they posting it every day on what they doing, show me that you're working out. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Show me that you went walk today. Show me what you're eating today. But sometimes people don't want to do it because they don't want to put themselves out, because they don't want to hold themselves accountable.
Right.
But these little small little things like that work on your subconscious mind that helps you. It shows you you're doing things with people that everybody doing together. You're gonna get better results that way. So these are the things that I do to help those people who is like my sister, people who have really made that transition, not just a transformation in their body, but transformation in their mind.
So one thing I want to, bring up before we close is cheat days. How do you feel about a cheat day?
Yeah, to be honest, man, I teach you we don't do cheat days.
Okay.
You just do it. You just do it and then get back. So see that's in my program also what we got a program we call All Three, and what that is it's reset, reintroduce, real life. That's a 6-week plan. In the first 2 weeks, they're gonna give you a list, a yes and no list But in the first 2 weeks, it's going to teach you how to reset your metabolism. In other words, you're going to be taking out all those carbs and sugars. Because in the beginning, this is how you're going to reset your metabolism. This is what you're going to help you lose that weight in the beginning, right? And because to get started, because when people start off, the key is helping them see results. Because if you got to see change in order to change, people want to see it. But if they don't see it, they're going to quit, you know? So but they don't set themselves up right. But first 2 weeks, you're gonna reset the metabolism. Second 2 weeks is called reintroduce phase. In other words, giving you foods to bring back in. So this is not a diet. It's just teaching you how, no matter where you go, if you're on vacation, you're going out to eat, whatever, how to scale the menu and how to pick the foods that are going to keep you going. High protein, minimize carb sugar. What time of the day? You know, you don't want to eat a lot of carbs and stuff late at night when you know you're going to be going home, going to sleep. You know, this giving you these options. And then the last 2 weeks is real life. In other words, we want to see how are you adjusting to making those choices. You know, and then you can reuse this plan over and over where it's teaching you how to incorporate these things every day where it's not a diet. And then you're going to be better off and sustain your results once you get them.
All right, my brother, you know what? It has been my pleasure. That's my time. Quickly, any positive words of encouragement?
Man, just get started. And then get going, and then we can figure it out along the way. So definitely reach out. You know, I definitely can help. And the next time, I want to be in person when I come do this interview.
Oh, most definitely, man. We will talk about that sooner than later, my brother, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity.
All right, man. All right, bye, you boy. I will see you when I see you. Ladies and gentlemen, all my listeners in New Orleans, this has been Conversations with Ron Richardson. I will see you same time, same place, same bat channel next Saturday, right here at WBOK 1238. Talk to you soon, New Orleans. Peace.
WBOK online at WBOK1230.com.